Hello everybody and welcome to today's tropical update for July 17th, 2020. And before I get started with this video, if you like the content that you see, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you like the video that you saw today, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to stay tuned to all my uploads that I have in the future, please hit that bell notification so you can get those updates as soon as possible. Now, on to the update. And here we are on the National Hurricane Center page, and as you can see, the National Hurricane Center once again shows nothing at the 48-hour mark. Um, what does it say at the 5-day? We'll find out here. 5-day is a no-go as well. I said this yesterday, and I'm going to probably say it again. This is going to probably change within the next 2 or 3 days. I promise that this is going to change. And I'm going to show you why, because the 3 models that I have up right now paints a tropical picture of some sorts going forward, and we're gonna take a look at those here momentarily. But for right now, there's nothing to really worry about right now. Take this time to prepare yourself for what's going to be coming later on in the season, because you don't want to be caught off guard when we get into August, September, and October. We've been telling you guys for the last 3 months, prepare, prepare, prepare. Ever since April, when most of us put our weather forecast out for the season. So, make sure everything is in order, because from here until the end of the season, it's just going to be full blast ahead. Um, it's going to be scary times going forward. And I'm going to be here to help you guys get through that. I'm going to give you guys the latest information that I possibly can to ensure that you guys stay safe. So, with that being said, let's move on to the IR loop here for the Atlantic. As you can see right here, this was the little disturbance that we were watching coming off of Louisiana yesterday, and it's now going into central Texas right here. We knew nothing was going to form out of this because it pretty much was too late once it got off the Louisiana coast, because it was just a straight shot west and not enough distance and room to really work with. Um, we got this little disturbance down here that are popping up showers and thunderstorms over Florida here. This is probably one of those tropical waves that have come through. Um, here's a wave that's dying out here. Here's another wave, and then we got two huge waves right here, and one coming off in Africa right now. Um, as you can see today, not much wind shear going on. You can tell if there's wind shear in the Atlantic by the way the clouds move, and you don't see no southwest or west or northwest cloud movements to shear these thunderstorms apart. You know, so nothing nothing can really stop these systems from really ramping up if they do develop, which we will see in due time here, like real soon. We're gonna see some tropical systems start to pop up, especially in the main development region and closer to home. That is where the most eyes are watched at this current point in time. Speaking of the GFS model, we're going to take a look at that right now. This is valid 6 hours from now, so the 18Z. Um, as you can see, nothing's really going on. You can see the moisture here in abundance here in the Gulf of Mexico, in the western and northwestern Caribbean here. Um, this is the fueling grounds for storms here. When you see a ton of moisture around, that's when you usually, see something try to pop up. Um, most cases is when you see all this green around. So you can see a few like tropical entities here, just some tropical waves that are coming through. Bringing rain to Florida. We might see some rain where I live here shortly, I'm sure. So besides that, I don't think any of this is going to form into anything. Here's a wave. Here's the intertropical convergence zone here. Here's a wave, and there's a wave. This is the big wave right here. It's either one of these two systems that we're gonna need to watch out going forward in time, and we're gonna look at that right now to see if any of these. What's this? What's this? 1,009 millibars. Look at that. So this is making a run for a tropical depression already, and this is like 3 days out. So let's go out through time again, and then there's something else that's gonna pop up here. What is this? A tropical system that is trying to develop near the Texas border here. So this is about 7 days out. I don't usually go past 5 days, but 7 days is still feasible. It's the mid range here. Um, Usually the rule is you don't look past 5 days unless you absolutely have to. But I think today we absolutely have to because you know it's been the last few model runs. It's been consistent with popping up the system near the Texas coast. So whether it's the depression or tropical storm as it makes landfall, if it makes landfall in Texas at all, it's going to be interesting to see going forward here. So actually, let's take a look. Let's go back a few frames here, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take a look at the the winds here if it loads up. Um, so yes, we're gonna go out through time again. Hold on, it's being slow. And as you can see, there's the closed off uh, thing here. You can see some tropical storm force winds popping up in here too, so that's pretty interesting there, to say the least. So let's go forward. You see the tropical storm force winds still, even if it's just a tiny sliver here. It's still tropical storm force winds, and then right there, boom. GFS doesn't have it pretty that strong, as it's going to go into Texas. Is probably 1,008 or 1,007 millibar pressure system. So I just thought the show, go that far out because I thought it was pretty interesting to see what the GFS has to show for that. All right. With that being said, let's take a look at the European here. Um, Here's our weird high pressure here. That's a pretty weird look to the high pressure here. And here's our tropical waves right here and right here. So we're gonna probably go out 7 days here too. No, we're probably gonna go all the way out to 10 days here because it shows something interesting too popping up here. Um, as you can see, the tropical waves are just moving, nothing really consolidating. Let's see here. See, at 10 days, we have something popping up here near Florida, which I thought was pretty interesting. But it looks like it's going to be moving towards the Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi area. Once again, this is 10 days out, so we take this with a grain of salt. Um, this is probably one of those waves. Yeah, that's one of those waves. Probably the second one or the first. Yeah, it's probably the second one. That's probably going to try to develop once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. Do we have the wind anomalies here? Yes, we do. Hold on as this pops up here for a moment. It's being slow again. You can see where the tropical wave is. Clearly, you can see where the tropical wave is. Here at a 7 day mark, it's over here in Puerto Rico. And clearly that's tropical storm force winds, even if it's not actually a tropical storm. So that's interesting to see. I don't know how it pops up like that, but we're going to see the evolution of this system as we go forward. And as you can see here, this is day 8, and it starts to weaken a little bit, and then there's day 9, day 10. So you can clearly see where the tropical wave is by the way these wind barbs are pointing in the direction of the spin in the atmosphere here. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what comes out of this, predicament of the European. So that's 2 systems now that are showing something trying to develop in the mid range of things. Now, The CMC model that I'm about to show you is pretty interesting, and I'm going to show you why here right now. So here is the CMC here. You can see this is our Texas system there. You can see our two tropical waves here and here, and once again a weird high pressure here with a low trapped in the middle of it. So we're gonna go out in time here. There's 12, 18. And as you can see, look at that. Look at that. It doesn't even take 2 days before something starts to pop up. So this is gonna be interesting to see if the CMC model starts to trend in its direction here. And as you can see, we got our first main development tropical storm. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on this one because it's still July. You guys need to realize and understand this is still July, and just to see a tropical main development region system pop up in July is even uncommon. Let alone all these tropical waves, you know, coming off of Africa ever since March of all times. Tropical waves have been coming off of Africa since March of this year, um, which is pretty amazing because you don't get that at all. So once again, we're gonna go out through time here some more. We're probably gonna go all the way to 240, even though we don't usually do that. So as you can see, it gets stronger. 998 millibars. That's definitely a tropical storm, and that's 4 days from now. So the National Hurricane Center, if the CMC gets its way, is definitely going to be putting that X on the map here, either tonight or tomorrow, if this turns out to be true. So we're gonna go out through time here, and as you can see, it still pretty much maintains its tropical storm status going forward, and it seems that the peak is at 995 right over Hispaniola. So this is gonna be interesting to find out. But with this kind of track, I do think it favors more of a Florida landfall than anything else. Also, it also depends on what this high does as well, because it looks like it's weakening a little bit, and that's why this might be a Florida storm, because it's gonna ride right up here and then probably make a turn. So if this pans out, here's what I'm thinking is gonna happen. I think it's gonna go right into the Florida just a little bit, and then make a turn to the north and east. So I think that's the scenario that's gonna play out here if this turns out to be true. So let's see if they have the wind barbs here, and yes, they do. Let's see what happens here. Once again, gotta wait for my stuff to load here. It's a little slow today. And look at those winds. Look at those winds. You're getting all the way up here to 58 knots, all the way up to 64 knots. So this is borderline hurricane stuff right now. Could we see our very first hurricane before the month of July is over? That's what we're gonna find out. If the As I said, all three of the GFS, the European, and the CMC shows something tropical happening before the end of July. So I do believe we'll get at least one more named storm out of this month. But if you're living in the islands, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Haiti, please pay attention to what's going on out here. Pay attention to the models and see if this pops up on anything else, because the CMC is pointing a pretty interesting picture right now. And as for me, I'll be here to keep you guys updated if this is still consistent throughout the next coming days. If anything pops up unexpectedly, I will be here to give you guys an update video on these things as we go forward. So please pay attention to what's going on, because we may expect our first hurricane of the season by the end of July. Anyways, with that being said, let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures. And this is going to play a big key part of the evolution of the system that the CMC is drawing up here. Because as you can see, these 30 and 31s, and even 32s that are popping up are everywhere. Even here in the South Main Development Region, they're popping up. Um, you need about 26 or 27 degrees Celsius to sustain tropical development. And, you know, that's there plenty here across the whole Atlantic region. Um, Heck, we're even warmer than the Eastern Pacific, and that's hardly ever a thing. So this is worrying to say the very least, because this is fuel to the fire, so to speak, of a tropical system. Um, as I said, look at this. We got 31s, we got 30s, 31s, 32s. Nah, nah. They ain't a 33 trying to pop up there, is it? Oh my god, no. Please don't. That's ridiculous. Um, we these water temperatures are dangerous, okay? And we're still in mid-July, so these temperatures are probably gonna get hotter. Um, the upper ocean heat content is gonna be off the chain, and you know these storms are gonna be dangerous. I'm not here to fearmonger. That's not what I do. Um, but I think the United States are in for one hell of a time this year for the season. Um, you know, I hate to say it, but I don't sugarcoat things, and I'm looking with my own eyes what is going on here, and it doesn't paint a pretty picture at all. So these this is dangerous, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted on these numbers as well. And here's the last thing I want to take a look at. It's the Nino 3.4 region, and as you can see here in April, we were really up there. We were about plus 0.7 degrees Celsius above the long-term average. And then, you know, once that happens, it just kind of fell off a cliff here. And we were even on La Nina status. Well, not exactly La Nina status, but at the threshold of what La Nina is. Um, at a point zero, a negative 0.06 below the long-term average. Now, the whole thing with La Nina, you have to be at that stage for at least a couple of months for it to be considered a La Nina. And I do believe at this current point in time that we're currently under a La Nina watch. So this, I do believe this is going to plummet back down anytime now. So after, you know, when June started, it started to go back up again and it took a steady increase. And now it's starting to go down again. And now we're right here on the 17th. And it looks like it's still going to go down from there. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. Um, you know, I'll be here for you guys to give you guys the latest updates and everything. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day.